one day because I chose not to record yesterday, which was day 5 of the challenge. So we're definitely getting things back on the roll and doing 2 videos today and maybe even 2 videos tomorrow. Who knows? We'll see. Um, and so the video I just recorded about before this was about changes I'm making to the challenge and how I am going to be moving forward. So if you haven't seen that, please watch that. And then come back and watch this one. What we are going to be talking about today is I just wanted to come in and check in with you all about it. So again, today is day 6, if I didn't already say that. And so I just wanted to come in and talk to you all about the areas of life that I am intentionally improving. This is a video idea that I had written down, and I felt like it would be really good now that I'm 6 days in to really talk about what that looks like, because I feel like I have a better idea of that. Okay, and so I have the notes on my phone, so we're just going to be going through that. But I have decided that the areas that I'm going to be working on throughout this 90-day Becomes Her challenge is body, mind, expression, and creation. So let's start off with body. This is regulating my body, and this looks like my walks, my steps, and my movement. So this is important because especially in this new season where I am focusing more on like holistic wellness, and I'm actually working on developing my advanced wellness coach certification, um, basically becoming a master wellness coach. I feel like I can't teach other people about their wellness or coach other people on their wellness if I'm not healthy, and like if I don't have my well-being together, essentially. And so for me, that looks like making sure that I'm being intentional about what I'm eating, what I'm putting into my body, making sure that I'm getting good sleep, making sure that I'm getting my steps in and proper movement throughout the day, and then really just overall hydrating my body and making sure that my body is a good place to be in. And so while this has been a journey that I've been on for the last year or two, I'm definitely taking it more serious when it comes to the next 90 days, leading up to my birthday essentially, and but also again just wanting to be in a body that I love, because for a long time it's been hard for me to really look in the mirror and be comfortable with myself, especially when I am naked. And so that is why I am working on myself. Like, if you don't like something about yourself, or if you don't like something, you have all right to change it. And I know some people choose to like do that through surgery or whatever the case, but I'm choosing to do that in a more natural and holistic way that works for me. And so while my journey is a lot slower than other people's, I feel like it's also been a lot more sustainable that way. Um, and so since starting this journey back in like September of 2025, so last year, I have already lost 20 pounds. As of today's date, I've lost 20 pounds, which might not seem like a lot for other people because it's been about 11, 9 months. Like, so that might not be a good improvement for everybody, but because I'm doing this simply by walking, um, not consistently before, but now I'm starting to get consistent and really just creating a lifestyle change. I am happy with the growth that I've made so far. Um, and I've noticed changes in my overall like ability. And so an example of that is like being able to walk 10,000 steps used to be like an impossible feat for me. I feel like I used to be out of breath and unable to do that, and now I can easily walk 10,000 steps in a day. And there's been days this year where I've actually walked 16,000 steps, and I think at one point even almost 20,000 steps, and it's not a problem for me anymore. I'm still not where I want to be, and I do have a long way to go. I want 10,000 steps to become my new normal for daily walking. And as I get more comfortable with that, I'm going to implement strength training and other workouts. But primarily, what I've been doing right now is walking. So, over the next 90 days, like I said, I'm going to start strength training, and I'm going to include other workout and movement into my routine. For me, I don't feel comfortable sharing my progress um, physically, like as in showing you all my work, me working out and things like that. But once I get to a place where I am comfortable with that, then I will start to share that. I will do check ins with you all as I make progress. And then, so the next thing was mind. And so the mind is all about growth. So, studying, reading, writing, listening to podcasts, whatever I really decide that I want that to look like. And I am doing that because that's what I've always done. Like, I'm just not going to allow myself to stay the same place that I've been mentally. Like, I just am someone who always prides myself on growing and improving. And so, of course, this challenge would include some mindset work. I'm someone who is very self aware, and I want that to continue. There's always a new level of growth that I could achieve mentally. There's more mindset shifts that I could be making. There is more, just more that I could be reaching and ways that I could be elevating. So I've chosen to do that in ways such, like I said, of studying, such as not just with the advanced practitioner wellness certification, but also I am in school for my second master's, which I graduate with next spring. Um, but also with the fact that I am working on my teaching license. And so there's three different things that I am working on doing major studying and, like, I guess, getting credentialed in, aside from there being other passions and things that I'm just doing research on, such as like trauma and little other certifications that I'm interested in. Um, Things like self love, and I'm wanting to get certifications in like self love coaching and psycho cycle thinking and like embodiment. And so there's a lot of things I'll probably do later on down the line, but for the next 90 days, the focus for studying will primarily be my master's program, the teaching license, and then the advanced prac biohacking certification. And then when it comes to reading, my goal for the year was to read 200 books and to listen to 200 podcasts. In terms of reading, I'm about, I don't know the exact number. I'm somewhere between 60 and 80 books. So I'm really using the next 90 days to get farther along. I don't have a specific end goal, just getting as far as I can, getting as close to that 200 number as I can by intentionally dedicating at least 45 minutes to reading a day. Reading has so many benefits for your brain and just overall mental agility. And so my favorite types of reading are honestly listening to audiobooks because it just works better for me and my lifestyle. But I do read physical books. When I'm reading physical books, they're typically self help books. And when I'm listening, it's typically to a romance book or a non-fiction book. No, a fiction book, sorry. Yeah, a fiction book. Um, and then listening to podcasts, I've been doing pretty good with that. I think I've only listened to about 30 podcasts. And so, with my daily goal of listening to at least one podcast a day, at least in the next 84 days, I'll have listened to 124, no, 114, at least 114 podcasts, which will put me that much closer to my goal. And there's no exact reason other than just new information and new knowledge is being published every day. And so, if I am not educating myself on the things that I am passionate about, I feel like I am doing myself and my clients and anyone that I interact with an injustice. And so, yeah, I just think that that's the point of me in taking new information. And then I also read articles specifically for my master's program. And so that's a part of there, but I'm not so much tracking that because that's not my favorite way to intake information. Let's make sure I didn't forget anything. And then writing. So writing for me is a part of mindset and growth because um I've always wanted to become an author, and it was something that was deterred by my family and my upbringing, and I'm finally allowing myself to step back into that. In 2025, I actually published a book, um, and I never talked to anyone about it. I never like really promoted it or anything because I wasn't satisfied with the process. I had went through a publisher, and I did not love it, and so I felt like it was something I did wrong when the books weren't selling. And so my goal now is just to move forward and put forth an effort to self publish my next book, and I'm doing a completely different genre, and I'm just giving myself a chance again to do what I love, um, and in a way that works for me. I'm setting deadlines for myself. I'm going to be the one responsible for promoting the book and ultimately getting sales, and I don't have to worry about if anyone else is siphoning money from me or scamming me in any sort of way. And so that is why I'm including like mindset. This is because I have to become a different person. My mindset has to change. I have to become more disciplined and consistent to achieve my goal of publishing one book by the end of this year. And so, the way that I've been tracking that so far is by giving myself the daily goal of writing at least 500 words. And so, I've been doing really good with that already. I had been working specifically on one book for the last 3 weeks, I think. Um, Primarily writing 500 words for that project Ice Queen. However, this morning when it came to writing, I decided that I did not feel motivated to write for that book. I only wrote 300 something words, and then I gave myself the space to be creative and write for a different book. And I'm glad I did that because I ended up writing 2,610 words for the new book, just because I had so much to say. Like, when you are giving yourself different ways and different outlets of expressing yourself, sometimes that works better for you. And so at the end of the year, I don't know which book I'm going to publish, which book I finish first, which book I decide that I want to put out there first, but I do know that I'm giving myself the option to have different avenues. And so I'm working on those two books and then another self help book. But I'm not forcing myself to finish any book by any date. It's just me writing for 30 to 60 minutes a day and seeing what happens. And then, so with expression, this includes like me being creative, like I was just saying. So um, while I included writing and mindset, I should have also included journaling. Um, because I feel like book writing would go more in this creative expression. But like I said, it's also mindset work because now I'm basically becoming an entrepreneur when it comes to publishing and selling and marketing my own book, um, which requires mindset shifts, as I was saying. And then, so moving backwards, when we're talking about writing, I've always been a journaler. I would consider myself an avid journaler. I've always had some sort of journaling practice at any point in life. I used to not journal every day because there was a point when my journal was read, and the information in my journal was being used against me because um, they knew that that was my safe space. And so for a while, journaling no longer became safe for me to do. Um, However, I am retraining and reframing that by having myself create a consistent daily practice of journaling at least one page a day, um, for morning pages, and I've been doing really good with that. I use this journal for my morning pages, and so I started, um, and it's very messy, and I love that I allow myself to be messy. So specifically for this challenge, I started on May 31st, and this is, let me see, this is how much I've written. So as you, oops, so as you can see, it's kind of hard to see, but a lot. Some days I write 1 or 2 pages. Some days I write 4 pages. At one point, I've even written 6 pages. And so I just go through here and I write and I journal whatever I feel like in that morning. And it's been really great for me to develop that outlet again, and be able to just speak freely and be creative. And it helps with my mindset because I'm able to go back and see what I'm thinking, and what I was feeling. Or sometimes I use my morning pages to write an idea for a book or an idea for a business or whatever I'm thinking about when I first wake up. And that's really cool because then I'm able to go back on that. And so that was actually how I developed the 90-day challenge, was through my morning pages and doing my daily journal practice. And so in this book, this is my commonplace workbook. So like I was saying, I use it for common. I use it for my morning pages, but I also use it for writing any creative ideas and podcast notes that I'm writing as I'm listening to a podcast. And so that's what mindset. Now moving back into talking about expression, this looks like YouTube, creating content on TikTok and Instagram, and also writing the book. So I already talked about writing the book, and the book projects that I'm working on. And in terms of YouTube, I've been wanting to start YouTube for 2 years now. It's been something I convinced myself that I couldn't or shouldn't do. And I'm finally stepping away from that and stepping into what I actually want to do and allowing myself to at least try. So, my goal over the next 90 days is to post a video consistently, um, and just see what happens. I do have a content, I do have a subscriber goal, and I have goals for analytics and all of those things. But honestly, I can't control who follows me. I can't control um, how my creative expression is received. All I can do is continue to create. And so that's what I'm going to be doing. As long as at the end of the day, I can prove to myself that I was consistent, that's all that matters. And that doesn't mean that I'll stop creating YouTube videos. After the 90 days, it might just change how I do that. So instead of creating daily, I might go to creating weekly or bi-weekly. Who knows what happens, but I'm just right now getting in the art of creating and creating self-trust within myself. And so that's YouTube. when it comes to other sorts of content, I'm just doing whatever I feel like doing. So sometimes, like on TikTok, I posted a Ride With Me vlog, which was literally just me screen recording as I was riding and showing my word count change. Sometimes it's a journal flip through that I'm recording. Sometimes it's been Right With Me vlogs lately, but really I'm just allowing myself to express myself in whatever way I choose to in that moment. And so that's what creativity looks like for me, because I feel like for a long time I've been um, hiding my personality, and I've just been like stifling my creativity. So I'm no longer doing that. The final one is connection, and this is has to do more with alignment. So this is my connection with myself, with God, and with others. And so this includes prayer, gratitude, journaling, and meaningful connection. Um at some point in a video, we will talk about my 2026 goals and how they are showing up and relating to the 90-day challenge. But what I will say for now is that one of my goals for 2026 was to create meaningful connections while also nurturing the current relationships and connections that I have. And so I have been doing that specifically with this 90-day challenge. There was a day where I think I showed or I talked about it at least in the check-in video, but there was a day where instead of having a normal 90-minute call with my the person that I do like coaching with or whatever, we ended up having a 90 minutes. The call lasted 2.5 hours. Um and it was not a part of my 90-day structure. It was not a part of my schedule, but I felt like I needed to stay on that call for as long as I did, because we were connecting with each other. We were nurturing a relationship to one another. We were venting to one another. We were giving each other the time and holding space for each other. And that mattered so much more than just getting another task checked off for this challenge. And then the day after that, so yesterday, that looked like being on the phone with my sister for a few hours and letting her vent about her life, and me also venting about where I'm at in life. So that is just as important as everything else that I do for me, because I've been in isolation for so long since becoming a mother that it's really important that I get myself back up there, back, get myself back out there and create and cultivate meaningful relationships, um, because that's something I simply wasn't doing. And then the prayer thing is just important because I feel like me continuing my relationship with God is very important to me. It does not look the way people think it might. It does not look the way people think it should look. It very much looks like its own thing for me, and that's okay. But I wake up and I listen to a prayer every single morning, and I pray to God after that prayer throughout the day. And sometimes when I'm journaling my morning pages, I'm journaling like I'm talking to God. When I'm doing my gratitude practices, I'm saying it. I'm thanking God for things in my life that have currently happened, but also that I know are in the works and are about to happen. Um, and so that is what prayer and gratitude look like for me. And then affirmations is really cultivating a relationship with myself, because, like I was saying with the body section at the beginning, I don't always feel comfortable and safe and secure in my body for so many reasons that I'm not going to get into. And so, affirmations is an easy, consistent way for me to learn to trust myself, learn to be okay with my body, and learn to love myself. So, I really love doing affirmations. I try to do them since the challenge starts. I try to do them every day. Um, Also, that being said, meditation has really helped me feel safe in my body and learn to sit with my thoughts and my emotions and who I am, and it's working on my self-worth and confidence. And so those are the things that I try to do when it comes to um, connection and alignment. And I just wanted to share that with you all because I felt like it was really important for me to get on here and talk about the pillars that I'm focusing on for the next 90 days so that you all um, see where and why my goals were developed in the way that they were. I know I could have focused on finances. I know I could have focused on career. I know I could have focused on family, relationship, so many other things, but these were the things that when I was doing a life audit, I decided that I wanted to focus on. Most of these things are things that were already in the works prior to the challenge starting that I'm just wanting to nurture and elevate more and step more into. And so thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video.